Do you think a high school diploma is enough to become a police officer? Well, this question is sparking debates right across the country. Some people say that policing requires university level critical thinking, and others argue that experience and street smarts are far more valuable. Now, even if police department policies in some areas only required a high school diploma, it was still pretty much impossible to get hired with just that. There's plenty of police services everywhere that required some sort of post-secondary education, usually at the university level. So why did the government announce that only a high school diploma is required? Is it lowering the bar, or is there more to the story? We're going to break this down. There are plenty of university educated people out there who think you only learn critical thinking through post-secondary education, college or university. I don't agree with that at all. I'm going to state my case for this, of course, but I'll start by saying there's certainly something to be said for a little bit of education from the School of Hard Knocks and life experience. I'm sure by now most people realize that a university degree, it won't help them on the street when it starts to go down. That's where street smarts come into play. There are police officers being hired who have never been in a fight. They've never been in a situation where they're scared or they truly feared for their life. They've never made life or death decisions on the spot. Now, I'm not saying this should be a requirement to be a police officer, but I guarantee you at some point, you'll be in a physical altercation. You'll be making quick decisions, maybe even life or death decisions. If not your life, then somebody else's. The bigger picture here is that you'll need to know how you're going to react. Some newer officers, they've frozen in their spot completely. The training and recruitment, training and education process is really good these days, but there's still controlled environments, dynamic simulations, and in the back of your mind, you know that. I want to be careful what I say here, though, because of course it's not all about street smarts. I'm not knocking university or higher learning in any form. I've worked with police officers who attended university and are extremely sharp, academics, and they've taken that same style of learning and created a really nice career for themselves as a police officer, especially in some units where that might be required. Some officers continued with schooling while they're police officers. They continue to seek higher education. It's extremely admirable. My hat's off to them. The problem with this announcement about only a high school diploma being required is that some people interpret it as they're going to start hiring a bunch of kids right out of high school. Now, I can assure you that's not the case, okay? I work with police services right across the country in different capacities, and they're just not hiring kids.
Listen, do you have a criminal record?
No.
Can you read or write?
ABCD.
All right, I want you to submit an application online tomorrow, okay? You sound perfect.
So why would they announce that you only need a high school diploma if nothing changed? If they're not hiring people right out of high school? Well, it's simple. To increase the pool of eligible applicants. Not everybody who graduated high school had the privilege of knowing exactly what they wanted to do with the rest of their lives, okay? Myself included. Some people never really aspired for higher education. It wasn't even considered an option for them, especially those who come from broken homes with little or no emotional or financial support. Even getting their high school diploma was a success. They graduated high school, maybe they worked to support their family, did odd jobs here and there, until the day they found something that they really enjoyed, and they stuck with it. Working in the trades, working in a warehouse for years, climbing their own internal ladder, working in retail until you become a floor supervisor, then a manager. You're dealing with customers who are sometimes very difficult to deal with, responsible for cash flow, running a team. Maybe you're the manager or running a crew at the warehouse now, dealing with deadlines, internal employee conflicts, all while balancing things out at a home, raising a family, paying your bills, having disagreements and struggles with your spouse. That is life experience they don't teach at school. And for a frontline police officer attending domestic incidents, workplace disputes, dealing with people who may be having a bad day or a bad month, you can speak to them with empathy and understanding. Not immediately jump to conclusions. That person has a high school diploma, but they would make a fantastic police officer. They understand critical thinking in practice. They're also not so young and impressionable. They can think for themselves, stand up for themselves, even stand up for themselves to other police officers if that's what's required. When I was in police college, so after I was hired, there was a guy in my class who turned 50, okay? He was a wealth of knowledge and experience, and he became our drill captain. I know somebody else with just a high school education who also became a cop in her late 30s. She got pregnant basically right out of high school, raised her kids young, was in a bad relationship where the police were also involved. She continued to be strong to support herself and her kids until she decided to fulfill her lifelong dream of becoming a police officer. And she is. She's an inspiration for her kids, but for others as well. Police are going to be dispatched to hundreds, if not thousands, of domestic-related calls throughout their career. She's going to bring her own valuable point of view. So making it clear that you don't need post-secondary education opens it up to a whole group of people who have life experience, both good and bad, and can bring their own perspectives and experiences to radio calls. At the end of the day, policing's about people, understanding them, supporting them, sometimes protecting them from themselves. Whether your knowledge comes from books or the hard lessons life throws at you, the key is applying that wisdom in a way that makes a difference. Education in any form is valuable, but it's not the only thing that defines a great police officer. It's character, resilience, the ability to adapt to the unpredictable nature of the job. The announcement about high school diplomas, it simply reflects that policing needs people from all walks of life with diverse skills and experiences just to meet the demands of today's communities. Let's not limit ourselves by focusing on where somebody's learning came from, but instead on what they bring to the table. I hope this makes sense to you. I really appreciate you watching this video, and I would love it if you share your thoughts. Be safe out there, look after one another, and I'll see you in the next video.